The oil your Hyundai dealership just poured into your engine, Hyundai didn't make it, someone else did. Someone with over 200 lubrication scientists working globally. So who actually makes Hyundai Motor Oil? We traced the plant codes, the corporate press releases, and a 20-year global energy deal. The answer involves two completely separate companies, both carrying the Hyundai name. Here's what we found. Welcome to Who Creates What. The information in this video is based on our independent research of public documents like safety data sheets and API registries. Manufacturer partnerships can change, and we are not sponsored by or affiliated with any brands mentioned. Always check your product labels. Pop the hood on a Hyundai Elantra, a Tucson, a Santa Fe, a Sonata, pretty much any Hyundai built after 2014. Look at the sticker inside your engine bay. It doesn't say Hyundai Oil. It says Quaker State. For most owners, that's a genuinely strange moment. You're standing at a Hyundai dealership. You asked for OEM oil. You assumed the brand on the car and the brand going into the engine would match, and they don't. This isn't a budget shortcut or a quiet workaround buried somewhere in fine print. On the 28th of February 2014, Hyundai Motor America stood at a press conference in Fountain Valley, California, and announced a formal lubricants program with Shell Oil, one of the largest energy companies on the planet. That program officially designated Quaker State as the recommended motor oil across Hyundai's entire US dealer network. But here's the part that most people miss entirely. This isn't just the oil used during your routine maintenance visits. Quaker State is also Hyundai's factory fill the oil loaded into your engine on the assembly line before your car drove a single mile. The very first oil that ever touched your pistons, your camshaft, your engine rings, that was Quaker State. Chosen by Hyundai. Supplied by Shell. That's why the sticker is printed inside your engine compartment. That's why it shows up in your owner's manual. This was never hidden. It was announced publicly and documented officially. It just wasn't a story anyone was connecting. And now comes the part that makes this even more interesting. So, why Shell? Why Quaker State specifically and not another major lubricant brand? Because this relationship didn't start in 2014. At that same press conference, Shell's vice president confirmed something that completely reframes the picture. He stated that Shell and Hyundai have a global relationship dating back to 2005. Nearly 2 decades. A global arrangement, not a regional promotion, not a pilot program that grew over time. When Hyundai's executive vice president of customer satisfaction stepped to that podium, he placed this oil program in the same breath as Hyundai's famous 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain warranty. He wasn't describing a supplier. He was describing a brand-level commitment, one tied directly to how Hyundai protects its long-term reputation with buyers. Shell backs that commitment with serious technical resources. Over 200 lubrication scientists work globally on Quaker State development. Their flagship product, Quaker State Ultimate Durability Full Synthetic, has been independently tested under the ASTM D7589 protocol for fuel economy performance and validated through the Sequence IVA wear protection test. These aren't marketing numbers. These are standardized industry benchmarks used across the entire lubricant sector. The product lineup at Hyundai dealerships spans 4 distinct tiers. At the base level, there's a conventional formula built for higher mileage older engines. Above that sits an enhanced durability synthetic blend for everyday driving. Then a DeFi high mileage synthetic blend engineered specifically for engines past 75,000 miles. And at the top, the ultimate durability full synthetic, the flagship protection tier. All 4 of them are Quaker State. All of them are Shell. All of them carry Hyundai's official endorsement. The arrangement also includes co-branded advertising, dealer marketing support, and upgraded oil dispensing equipment installed directly in service bays across the network. This isn't a background arrangement running quietly behind the scenes. It's embedded into the Hyundai service experience by design. But here is where this story splits, and most people never see this coming. Search Hyundai Motor Oil on Amazon right now, and you will find something called Hyundai XTeer. It carries the Hyundai logo. The word Hyundai is printed across the front of the bottle. It's marketed as a premium, full synthetic motor oil, and by measurable quality standards, it is a legitimate, certified product. But here is what it is not. It is not the oil that goes into your car at the dealership. Hyundai XTeer is manufactured by HD Hyundai Oil Bank, a petroleum and lubricants company running a base oil refinery with production capacity exceeding 1 million tons per year. They also operate a joint venture with Shell at 20,000 barrels per day. That second detail, Shell appearing again, is something worth keeping in mind. We'll come back to it. So who exactly is HD Hyundai Oil Bank? They are a core business unit of HD Hyundai Group, previously known as Hyundai Heavy Industries, one of the largest shipbuilding and industrial conglomerates operating out of South Korea. And here is the point that explains everything. HD Hyundai Group and Hyundai Motor Group are completely separate corporations. Separate ownership structures, separate boards of directors, separate financial reporting, separate supply chains. They don't share management, they don't share revenue. They share a name and a 70-year-old origin story and nothing else. Hyundai XTeer is sold across global markets and is a real, certified lubricant. But it is not the oil designated for North American Hyundai dealerships. That remains Quaker State. And yet, every week, car owners order Hyundai oil online, receive XTeer, and assume it's the same product the dealership uses. Forum threads debating this exact confusion appear regularly. A YouTube short with the title, "Hyundai Oil is not the Hyundai OEM oil, super confusing" exists specifically because this misidentification is widespread and ongoing. So now you know the difference. But you probably want to know why it exists in the first place, and that story goes back 70 years. To understand how we got here, you have to go back to South Korea in 1947. Post-war Korea was rebuilding from almost nothing. The government, pushing rapid industrialization, created conditions for massive family-controlled conglomerates to rise and expand across the economy. In Korean, these are called chaebol. And one of the most powerful chaebol ever assembled was built around a single name, Hyundai. At its peak, this enterprise touched nearly every sector of the South Korean economy. Construction, shipbuilding, automotive, finance, retail, energy, one founding family, one name, everywhere you looked. Then came the late 1990s. The Asian financial crisis exposed the structural fragility buried inside these debt-heavy conglomerates. The South Korean government, under both international pressure and domestic reform movements, pushed aggressively for cable to break apart, to de-merge, to become independent and publicly accountable companies. Over the following decade, the original Hyundai empire fractured into legally separate entities. Each one retained the Hyundai name. Each one went its own direction. Hyundai Motor Group took the automotive side Hyundai vehicles, Kia, Genesis, Hyundai Mobis. HD Hyundai Group, formerly Hyundai Heavy Industries, moved into shipbuilding, construction equipment, and HD Hyundai Oil Bank. Hyundai Department Store Group, Hyundai Steel, Hyundai Engineering all became independent corporations with no shared ownership connecting them. This is why a bottle of XTeer and a Hyundai Tucson come from entirely different corporate families, shared ancestry going back 70 years. No shared business today. Now here is the detail that genuinely ties this whole story together. Shell sits on both sides of this split simultaneously. Shell is the parent company of Quaker State, the oil Hyundai Motor Group chose for every North American dealership. And Shell is also an active joint venture partner with HD Hyundai Oil Bank, the company behind XTeer's base oil production. One global energy corporation, two completely separate Hyundais, and one car owner at the auto parts store trying to figure out what's actually supposed to go in their engine. You now know who makes it and where the partnership came from. Here's the honest breakdown of what that actually means for your car and your wallet. On quality, the answer is straightforward. Quaker State Ultimate Durability Full Synthetic carries API SP certification, the current top-tier standard for modern gasoline engines, and it is fully ILSAC GF6 compliant. For any Hyundai under the 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain warranty, using the factory-specified oil removes any ambiguity if a warranty claim ever comes up. That matters. On price, the picture is more honest than most dealerships will tell you. The same Quaker State full synthetic poured at the dealership is sitting on the shelf at any auto parts store. When you pay for a dealership oil change, you are paying for trained labor, dealer overhead, and the convenience of the service lane. You are not paying for a superior oil. And here is what almost nobody brings up directly. Under the Magnuson-Moss Warranty Act, A manufacturer cannot legally void your warranty solely because you used a non-OEM oil brand, as long as that oil meets the API certification and viscosity grade specified in your owner's manual. Mobil 1, Pennzoil, Platinum, Valvoline. Advanced, full synthetic, any of these, in the correct viscosity for your engine, will protect your Hyundai and preserve your warranty under federal law. The oil going into your engine was developed by one of the most technically resourced lubricant programs in the industry. But now that you know which program that is, where the partnership came from, and what federal law actually says about your options, you're not guessing anymore. Two oils, both wearing the Hyundai name. Two completely different manufacturers, a 20-year global energy alliance, and a Korean industrial empire that fractured, leaving the same name across a dozen independent corporations. All of it sitting behind a sticker inside your engine bay that most owners never read. If this one surprised you, the AC Delco video does the same thing for GM owners. The title asks why your GM dealer's oil outperforms $30 Mobil 1-inch lab tests, and the answer involves something most GM owners have never heard of. That video is on screen right now. We follow the supply chains others don't talk about. Subscribe, and we'll see you in the next one.